Don't say it will have nothing to do with the current rhetoric of this administration. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. I am Ty Smith. You're watching my channel, Modern Renaissance Man, in which I appreciate you guys all doing so. Make sure that if you're following me on YouTube, that you're following me on the platforms you see above and below. And when you hit this thumbs up button for me right now, that will allow this content to consistently be recommended to you, from me to you. All right, so make sure you do that. If and when you do subscribe to the channel, make sure you hit the bell notification in the process. That way you will be notified whenever I do post a video, okay? When you do hit the bell, though, it's going to bring up another little tab. And when you see the words all notifications, select that. All right. Appreciate it. Okay, folks, this is going to be something that y'all already know how I feel about this. You already know. Well, then again, you don't know. Some of you that may be watching this for the first time, you're going to get an idea of what I feel when it comes to this right there. So you heard the beginning of this video, right? Them saying a record number of police being injured on, and let's find out why. Want y'all listen to this, because there's some stuff in here. Just check it out.
The NYPD always working hard. They're working hard on this one. And the NYPD suffering a record number of injuries this year. Worth noting that 4,600 injuries from violent suspects reported throughout 2024. That's up 13% from just last year, 32% from 2020, and a stunning 60% from 2021. We are grateful today to have Paul Morrow with us, retired NYPD inspector and Fox News contributor. And of course, I bet you have some ideas about why this sadly is occurring to our officers at the NYPD.
Yeah, I would say the common denominator here is going to be a shortage of officers to respond, right? Generally, cops get hurt two ways. You're either tussling with somebody who doesn't want to go, or car accidents, which is very underappreciated. One of the things I used to do when I was working in a precinct as an executive was to just go around and make sure that these guys were wearing their seatbelts, because while it was annoying and it felt very sort of paternal, the bottom line is more cops get hurt and in some cases lose their lives from car accidents than anything else because they're rushing to a scene. Well, when you're short cops, you have people covering more ground. They're going job to job. They got to get there. Some of them are real emergency jobs. As a result, they get into the accidents and they get injured. Fortunately, there hasn't been that many fatalities. But that's the common denominator that I would argue, is that we just don't have enough bodies due to recruitment and retention issues. And that comes out of just, it's not the money. The gig is pretty good these days. It's not that. It really comes down to morale. Nobody takes the job for money.
I'm wondering, with the morale part, staggering 60% of felony cases in Manhattan by DA Alvin Bragg were downgraded to lesser charges. How much of an effect does that have on the morale, which then can affect safety?
You always deal with plea bargains, essentially, is what it is, which is they plea it down, the guy takes a lesser charge, and that's how it goes. Then that's how the system keeps operating, because if you charged everything as arrested, the entire system would grind to a halt. There's just too many. The problem is this. In the current system, when you plea these things down and you say, okay, you're in here for a felony robbery, we're going to knock it down to simple assault. Under the bail reform, that means you get right out. So these guys are out in many instances before the paperwork is dried. The cop is still inside processing. The guy walks out the door, and it happens at the precinct level. So it's entirely visible to the police officer who made the arrest. As a result, and I always use this analogy, how would most of us feel, whatever walk of life you work in, if anything you did every day before your shift is over is just completely undone, and then at the same time, the legacy media tells you you're the ones who are the bad guys.
Yeah. There's some polling, recent polling on New York Siena poll. What do you think the most important problem facing New York City? Not particularly shocking here. Crime right at the top of the list.
Yeah. I have to tell you, Molly, this is the biggest corruption scandal that I've seen in New York City in my life. Big statement. I know that. Right now, the media hasn't entirely twigged to it yet. They're going to get there. But in my lifetime, we've had police scandals. They were always the lower ranks, and it was just really venal stuff. I'm not countenancing it, but it was like narcotic stuff, et cetera. They'd arrest a bunch of cops, maybe sergeants, et cetera. The police commissioner had to resign and turn in his phones. The DOJ took his phones. There are so many people in our current government everybody seems to be either under investigation or under indictment. The mayor, who's apparently going to get a superseding indictment, according to DOJ, he's got now a special officer in D.C. appointed to handle the classified information. We don't know what that's about. His closest aide just got arrested for bribery by the Manhattan DA's office. Our son got money for a Porsche. It goes on and on. I often don't do this, but I'm going to point people to my Substack, okay? opsdesk.org. If you go to that, you can go to that. And the reason I do that is because we just did, coincidentally, a roundup of all the cases. And you see it all in one place, you realize this city is in trouble. The issue is Adams, according to what we see, is the best we're going to get.
Predicting some wild headlines in 2025, that is for sure.
Okay, you heard that, right? You heard that. I agree with probably 60% of what they said in here. One thing I'm definitely not going to agree with, the shortage of officers. So if you don't have that many officers, why are there a shortage of officers, huh? Why is there a shortage, huh? I don't know. Maybe this current administration, the rhetoric they put out there where they were making criminals the goddamn on victims, and the police the goddamn on ones that didn't have nothing done to them. Even when the police were being beat up, police being shot at. Oh, the criminals was walking right back out on the street. Oh, they were being let out on the bond. Oh, because they didn't have any money. They were being let right back out. No cash bail. Being let right back out. We saw the police officers getting assaulted. We seen plenty of videos of police officers being attacked and the goddamn on criminals getting let right back out. And do not forget, don't forget what happened about 3.5 years ago with all the rhetoric of the didn't want to go after the police because of George Floyd and all kind of stuff that swept across America, where a rhetoric and a narrative was pushed out there to completely hate the police. I have not forgot about that. Want to know why? Because I went around speaking across America on behalf of fallen police officers. As a matter of fact, this is one of the hats right here. This hat right here is for the fallen police officers who lost their lives. You know what it says on the back? It says rep the blue. So I backed the blue on a whole lot of occasions. That's why I know about a whole lot of this stuff that was going on. And there was such a huge push and such a huge rhetoric against the police officers that people who don't have a mental capacity and intellect to see through a bunch of fake bullcrap and see that they were being driven by media, by this narrative, they were going out after police. Hey, ho, ho, these racist cops have got to go. All this stuff that was being done. New York police officers were speaking out, saying that they are not the bad guy. They know that there may be a few bad apples, no pun intended, since, New York, the big apple, but all across America. Because of George Floyd, people were starting to come at police. Don't forget about the police officer who was shot in the head in Vegas when all the George Floyd stuff started. They were really going at the police. So what did it do? It sent out a message that the police, although there might be bad police officers amongst police precincts, they burned down police precincts, y'all. Y'all forgot? That message went worldwide. So guess what happened when these illegals came over here? They felt they can do the same exact thing too. So what happened up there in New York? It was horrible, up to the extent to where DeSantis was offering them a complete sign-on bonus to come to Florida. Police started leaving New York in droves. So of course there's a shortage of police, but explain why there was a shortage. And at the same time, explain why these criminals feel like they can do stuff and get away with it. Explain why, when police see some stuff going down, a lot of times, like that lady that was burning on the subway, what did they do? Oh, officers are just walking by and not doing anything. That's why. So now, with Trump coming back in here, bringing law and order, let's see if there's going to be a change. And I'm not talking about some of y'all that want to try to push out this racist bull crap about he giving them immunity. They're just going to be shooting us up. You know what? Never mind. You guys let me know what you think about this by putting it in the comment section. I'm trying to slow down after this video. Do not forget to do what you guys see in that cloud right there. And the next video that I will be doing in chronological order is going to be up here. Things that I do as a variety right here. I am Ty Smith, Modern Renaissance Man, hoping and praying that every last one of you have food, shelter, and clothing. Most of all, praying every last one of you guys are in great health, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. God bless you all through Jesus.